That doesn't look good.
And yeah, that is exactly what I'm on about. What's up guys, and welcome back. So I haven't posted a video in a little while. Been quite busy getting back to work now, like the lockdown's lifted a little bit, but I promise I'm going to be getting back into the schedule of uploading more videos consistently. So I'm probably not going to have time to do them every single day like I was before, but what I am going to do is do them every other day, so still fairly often. Just gives me a little bit of time to plan videos a bit more. Also, I would like to try and get 2 games running at the same time, just for a little bit of variety, but I'm just a bit stuck on what to play and what everybody's interested in, because I'd quite like to do like tips and tutorial videos as well as like a sort of walkthrough. Like I want to get like a series going with some episodes, etc. So if any of you guys have suggestions on some good games that you'd quite like to watch me do videos on, that would be great, because I would like to play games that you guys are interested in, obviously, not just me. Ideally, try and make them survival games, because that's the kind of vibe I'm going for with my videos. Because they're the sort of games, well, I mean, I enjoy lots of different games, but they're the sort of games I'm going for. So yeah, if you've got any suggestions, that would be amazing. But today's video is going to be a tip video. Now, it's not like a top 5 tips. I'm not saying these are the best tips that you can get for the game, because they're probably not. I don't want to do just one tip video. I want to do a few. So they're not going to be in any particular order. They're just 5 tips that I think will help you. Some of you will already know them, so I guess they're more for maybe beginners, some of them. But some of them, I'm sure a lot of you guys will be like, oh, I never knew you could do that, etc. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and let's get stuck in. So number 1 is about the crates. Now, when I first started playing this, I probably got to about day 15, maybe a bit further in, and I was like, when you find these crates on the boats, I was just swimming up, taking the stuff out of them, and then swimming back to shore. I didn't actually realise you could pick them up, even though I know right there it says press square to pick up. But I was completely oblivious to that, so maybe I'm the only one that struggled with this one, but I'm sure I'm not the only one. So yeah, when you do go out to the ships and stuff, if you get to New Island, just empty out enough of your inventory, probably leave like 3 or 4 slots, and then swim out and just pick the crates up, because they all hold 3 items, so a lot of the time those are full, so then you can carry, it will just take up 1 slot rather than all 3. And I know I've said this this crate thing in a previous video, so for those of you that watched that video, I apologise, but some people might not have seen it. So yeah, and along with that, they are really helpful for when you're going to gather resources. You can carry, well, 3 times as much in 1 slot. And like I said in one of my other videos, I can't remember exactly off the top of my head what it works out at, but I think it's 30 items you can carry instead of 10, so they're obviously very useful. And yeah, and then they just, well, they clutter up your island a bit, but I've just shoved all mine together like that, just to show you really. But I mean, you can see how many I've got here. I can't even carry all of them because I've only got the that is not what I wanted. I only got this many slots, but yeah, definitely whenever you can, make sure you grab these crates and bring them back with you, because they will 100% help you out in the long run, especially gathering resources. So yeah, that's tip number 1. My second tip is, as soon as you can, get yourself some farming plots going. Especially if you do use the motor or the gyrocopter, you're 100% going to need some potato farms, because this is where you get your fuel. And you know, if you're like I was when I first started playing the game, I was just eating the potatoes thinking, oh, this is an easy way to get your food up, but you then soon realise that they're actually quite hard to find after a while, especially because they don't regrow unless you plant them in your plots. So if you just eat them while you're out in the wild, you're not doing yourself any favours. You want to stick them in some plots like this, and then you pretty much have an unlimited amount, because as long as you keep them watered, they just continuously grow and continuously produce potatoes. And it's not just potatoes. If I head over here, so I've got my fruit here, Cura, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but you use, I think it's medicine, this and one of the other fruits you use to make medicine. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that, because I've never actually made it, because I don't have the other fruit. And this is, to me, the most important one of them all, the pippy, because the amount of times you'll be poisoned on this game, I couldn't even count. I've been poisoned so many times. I'd run out of fingers if I tried to count. So yeah, I would honestly tell you to make a farm plot for this stuff. I've only got one, but I'd recommend getting 2 or so, because what I do with it is run back over here, and I'm about to lose the light. Is I just store them all here, all my different plants and stuff like that, because especially the pippy, because you will need that. Because I'm about to lose the light, which is a pain. There it is. I can't remember which slot it was in. Silver Hanamigo. It's disappeared. Well, that's not helpful when I'm trying to do a video. Okay, well there was a poisonous starfish here a second ago, but it's moved. I'm not going to go hunting for it because I'll just end up treading on it. But yeah, there's so many poisonous animals around, especially when you go into new islands and you've got the snakes and stuff like that. So you're always going to want some pippy on hand to make the antidote, because it is a very easy way to die being poisoned. And there's nothing worse than when you're trying to explore and there it is. That's the one I was on about. There's nothing worse than when you're trying to explore and you're far away from like your main base and you haven't got any antidote with you, because you'll either have to go back to like your last save, or you just have to frantically search around for it, and it's not the easiest stuff to find. And once you've already picked it, it doesn't regrow. So yeah, make sure you get some farming plots as soon as you can. You don't have to make them out of the corrugated iron. You can make them out of wood. I think it just costs a lot more. But yeah, that's tip number 2. The farming plots.
That doesn't look good.
And yeah, that is exactly what I'm on about. They're so annoying. So tip number 3 is, I don't know how to sum it up, but I'd say like light beacons, lighthouses. So as you can see, I've got a tower there. What I should do is probably put them around the island. At the moment I've just got them this side of the island, but you want something that you can distinguish your main island. It just helps if you do end up losing it and you see the tire, or I've got a lantern down there, and I'll show you around there. I've put a forge. They're the best things because they're quite bright and you can see them from a fair distance away. I would say try and put some forges all the way around your island if you've got the resources, because they are really handy, especially at night. You can see your island from quite far away if you don't have your compass, that is. So yeah, just try and put. I mean, the tarps obviously help as well. You can see the blue, but from a distance at night, sorry, you can't really see them that well. So try and get some lights around your camp. Just helps you see your island that little bit more. So if I try and float away, I'll probably end up hitting a rock. I was hoping to face that way, but I might be able to steer it. If it let me operate it. And it helps if I take the anchor off again. Right, so I'm just gonna swing around so I can see the forge, and then we'll see how far you can go until you lose sight of the forge. Bear with me, it takes about an hour to turn these rafts. how far I've gone out and it's still not turned around. I'm going to end up at that island before I'm going in the right direction. I mean, but you can see from here, you can still see... I mean, I don't want to get up just yet, but you can see it just past the engine. You can see the light and the lantern, actually. I don't know if you can see the tower or not. Not really, not from here. It's better during the daytime. The tower stands out a bit more. So the lantern's still just about there, but it's pretty much disappeared now. The tower's completely disappeared, but you can still see the forge, and if you had those forges all the way around your island, it would obviously stand out a lot more than just one on its own. But we are quite far now. We're a lot closer to that island than we are there you go, it's just disappeared. But you can still see the lantern, actually. I'm surprised you can see the lantern over the forge. I was about to jump up then, but I would have gone flying off my raft, so I'm glad I didn't do that. Has anyone else ever just jumped or tried to jump over a crate or something on their raft and gone flying off of it and then had to swim after it while you're being chased down by great whites and stuff? That's always fun. Is it called a forge? I can't actually... Oh, furnace, sorry. It's a furnace, not a forge. If you just set up a few furnaces around your island, you can just see this flame from pretty far, or even lanterns. Lanterns are quite... As you could see, the lantern actually stood out for longer than the furnace, which I'm quite surprised about. But yeah, just have a couple of light sources dotted around your island, and it will just help you find your island if you ever get lost. So tip number 4 is all about your food. So for those of you that don't know, if you don't skin them, like your fish and seagulls and I mean even your sharks, if you don't skin them, you can actually just leave them and they won't go off. So you can just stockpile them for those times where you don't actually realise how low your hunger is, and a coconut won't really do it. So you can just build up a big pile of fish or birds, etc., and they won't go off, which is pretty handy. Whereas if you skin it, after a little while it will go off. So yeah, just leave a big pile of them. Spend I don't know, 10 minutes or so fishing, and that literally took me about 2 minutes. Well, not the birds, obviously, they were on my trap, but the fish, I got about 5 or 6 fish in about 2 minutes, and that'll last you quite a while. The sharks will obviously last a lot longer. Food-wise, I mean. I think it is an unlimited time leaving them on. For those of you that have watched my videos, you'll know that these sharks have been here for practically all my videos. I've not touched them. I think I've taken the leather off them. I've left the meat on and they're still here. So yeah, rather than constantly catching and eating, just spend a little while catching lots of stuff. I mean, get some bird snares. Get a few bird snares, because they catch seagulls all the time, and you never even have to do anything. Every now and again, just walk up to them, take the bird off, and just chuck it in your pile. So I mean, you can see how many seagulls there are. That one of them will probably land on it. Is it gonna land? No, that's a shame. So yeah, just build yourself up a nice big pile, and then when your guy gets hungry, or girl, sorry, you can just pick and choose from that. Pick and choose from your pile, and you'll never go hungry again. So tip number 4 is don't skin your food unless you are going to eat it straight away. So tip number 5 is another one I've sort of done a video on before, and it's all about the yuccas. Try and use the yucca leaves for as many different things as you can, because these are one of the only things, if not the only thing, other than like your fish and animals and stuff, that respawn, or regrow in this case. Anything else like your trees and your plants like the pippy and the potatoes, nothing else regrows. So as soon as you cut a tree down, it's cut down, it doesn't regrow. Whereas these yucca plants, or even the, I can't remember what they're called, I think it's the young palm trees that give you the fibrous leaves, they're the only things that regrow, and you can use them for a lot of different things. Obviously lashings are probably the main thing they're used for, and you can restock your water stills with them, and get easy way to get water. You just chuck them underneath. And I mean, I've already gone through this in another video, but for those of you that haven't seen that video, you can also you can also top up your firewood. You don't need to use wood for it. You can just use fibrous leaves, and I would definitely say use your fibrous leaves to bloody light gone again. Yeah, try and use your fibrous leaves to stock up your fire and stuff like that, because like I say, you know, if you use sticks and stuff, that you won't get them back again, whereas the fibrous leaves just keep growing. And yeah, you might as well use something that's going to respawn again in a day or two, rather than use up all the resources on your island. Like, I've made the mistake of using up all the coconuts on the island, so now if I need to make an antidote or something, unfortunately I've got to go to a completely different island just to get some coconuts, although I have made a couple of coconut flasks now, so I don't actually have to do that anymore, but you get my point. Try and use your fibrous leaves for as many different things as you can, and yeah, save your other resources for other things, really, more important things. You don't want to be using up your wood just to top up your fire, because there's just no need. I mean, I've got 3 yucca plants on this island, and plus all the these guys, the young palm trees that grow. I've got just an unlimited, decent amount of fibrous leaves growing on the island. So I've got plenty of stuff. I can make lashings, I can make cloth, and I can use my wood for other things, like making spears or spear arrows. So yeah, that's my final tip for today. So I will be doing some more tip videos in the future, and yeah, like I said, you know, if I do want to try and get 2 games going at the same time, so it'd be this and something else. So if you've got any other suggestions, then please let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video and you learnt something new, then please hit that like button. And if you want to see some more videos like this from me, then make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. I'm going to have a declutter, I think, on my island. It's an absolute mess. Just got loads of clunk everywhere. But anyway, that's all from me today, and I will see you in the next video.
We're in control.